A player making his sixth appearance here at the Masters. A two-time ranking event finalist, enjoying his third spell in the world's top 16. He's a crafty cockney with a crafty smile, Mark the Royal King!
Mark King is back in the headlines, but not for pulling off a smooth century break or staging a legendary comeback. This time, it's for something that's left the snooker world shaking its head. After being handed a 5-year ban for match fixing, King tried to clear his name with an appeal, but that appeal is completely rejected. Now the former UK Championship finalist is officially out of the game until at least 2028. That's 5 years without chalking up his cue or stepping into an arena. For a player who's been around the table for decades, this is more than career-threatening. The drama started back in early 2023 after a suspicious match at the Welsh Open. King lost 4-0 to Joe Perry, and soon after, the snooker authorities noticed something odd about the betting patterns. To be clear, Perry wasn't accused of anything but King. He was suspended almost immediately. Fast forward to November 2024, and things got worse. An independent disciplinary committee found King guilty of fixing a match and giving inside information to bettors.
Now, Mark King has been banned from snooker for 5 years after being found guilty of match fixing. An independent disciplinary committee found the 50-year-old guilty of 1 count of match fixing and 1 count of providing inside information on a match. The former Northern Ireland Open champion was suspended by the sport's governing body last year after suspicious betting was reported on his match with Joe Perry in the Welsh Open. King, who denied the charges, has been ordered to pay £68,000 in costs. He has until November the 28th to appeal the decision.
The result was a 5-year ban and a fine of more than £68,000. But King wasn't ready to accept that. In April 2025, he showed up to fight the decision, bringing 4 main arguments to the table, although he dropped one of them right at the start of the hearing. He argued that the betting didn't make sense. People had put money on 4-1 and 4-2 score lines too. So if he was fixing the match to lose 4-0, why would those bets exist? He also claimed his connection to someone involved in the betting wasn't as close as people thought. And finally, he pointed to a recent injury and a dip in form as the real reason behind his poor performance that day. But the appeals committee wasn't convinced. After reviewing everything, they said the original decision made sense. It was logical, backed by evidence, and didn't need changing. In other words, the case was closed. King is now 51, and with the ban running until March 2028, his snooker future is looking uncertain. A 5-year break at this stage could be the end of the road. But to really understand how he got here, we need to rewind the story a bit. It all started in the most unexpected place, his nan's living room. Every Thursday, young Mark would visit, sit down for a game of Yahtzee, and get handed a little bag of 2-pence coins. Most kids would have seen that as just some fun with grandma. But for King, it sparked a thrill that never really left. That's when the betting mindset kicked in. From there, it was a quick step into the snooker club in Romford, the same one where Steve Davis got his start. Not only was King chasing high breaks, but he was also chasing jackpots on the fruit machines. At just 10 or 11 years old, he was sneaking spins on machines he wasn't even legally allowed to touch. And it didn't stop there. As he got older, the bets got bigger. Horse racing, dog racing, roulette if it involved a gamble, King probably tried it. He even described roulette machines as the crack cocaine of gambling. Looking back, it's clear the addiction was always there, quietly growing alongside his snooker career. And while he had flashes of success on the table, like winning the Northern Ireland Open, those wins were shadowed by the growing chaos off the table. Once King put in just £1 and hit a £16 win. He got 4 bells ringing on the fruit machine and thought that he got rich. So rich, in fact, he had to run to the toilet with the money tucked in his pocket like it was a secret treasure. King, who turned professional way back in 1991, became what many would call a compulsive gambler. He did spend his whole day in betting shops, then somehow still found time to play in ranking snooker matches that same evening. If it weren't for this addiction, he could have won way more tournaments, mainly because his mind would have been on the game, not drifting off to his next bet. He remembers a match in 1998, playing John Higgins in the Welsh Open semi-finals, where he lost 6-5. But the wild part, King was in the betting shop all day until 6 p.m. The first dog race started at 11 a.m., and he thinks he bet about £1,000. Definitely not the best way to get your head in the game. He should have been resting, sleeping, or at least mentally preparing for a big match. But nope, he was 24 and just wanted to bet. It hurt him to admit that he'd even have fights with his wife just to get out and place a punt. One time, he told a bookmaker to hold on because he owed him £3,000 and a check from the German Masters was on its way. That's when King admitted if he ever made another bet, his marriage would be over. These days, King points out, you can gamble 24 hours a day. You can even sit on the loo and wager £10,000 on your phone. King started attending Gamblers Anonymous meetings in 1997 and has only had 4 breakouts. His last bet was 13 years ago, and he credits his weekly GA meetings for keeping him on track. If he skips those, trouble's not far behind. He's clear that if he ever bets again, his marriage is done and dusted. But now, his life is brilliant. He's got a lovely family and a couple of dogs that keep him company. When talking on the Q Sport Hub YouTube channel, King keeps quiet about the long, match-fixing ban he's serving. An independent disciplinary committee found Mark King guilty of 1 count of match-fixing and for giving out inside information on a match. He didn't take the decision quietly. In his usual blunt style, King called it absolute rubbish, though he used a slightly stronger word and said it was something he could handle. Like he'd seen worse, and honestly, he probably has. During all the legal drama with the snooker bosses, it's believed he even had to sell his beloved snooker table. Now, to keep the household running, his wife works at a school while King takes on the role of house husband. He's been doing some laboring here and there, and casually buying and selling bits and bobs, which sounds a bit vague, but let's assume it's all legal. Looking back on his 33-year snooker career, King didn't sugarcoat it. He said he often thinks about how much of a plank he was, but these days he actually likes the person he has become. He explained that now he can sleep without worrying about who he owes money to. No more coming home at ridiculous hours with a guilty conscience and an empty wallet. He compared himself to a firework. When he exploded, it was not just him who got burned. His wife, his kids, they all got caught in the fallout. By his own words, he was a horrible person back then. But now, he's just trying to keep things calm, grounded, and as drama-free as possible. Though with snooker, that's never guaranteed. And that's a wrap for today's video. Do you think Mark King can pull off a proper comeback? Or has the final frame already been played? Let us know in the comments below. For more snooker content, click on the screen now and keep watching.